As we approach the 10th anniversary of the most beautiful moment in life, we should not forget just how important this album is, not just for the career of BTS, but for the K pop industry in general. This series really changed the course of the K pop industry, introducing templates, marketing styles, substantial narratives, and creative directions that were rarely used in K pop, if at all. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life series proved that you don't have to copy everything from the West or from Japan or from anywhere else to gain international recognition. You just need a beautiful story, and you need to know how to beautifully tell it. Here are the 10 ways that the most beautiful moment in life reconstructed K pop. They transition from youthful rebellion to complex storytelling that mirrors complex human experience. From the beginning, BTS had a free hand in deciding their own narrative. So it wasn't really surprising that they debuted talking about the societal pressure and desire to rebel. They were right on that age and that stage in their life. And the School Trilogy, their first three albums, wasn't a failure, but it also wasn't the kind of consistent success they were hoping for. And that they personally stated in the book Beyond the Story. Unfortunately, even they don't know what was the reason for the inconsistency. Personally, and this is just an opinion, while the sincerity is needed, the exposition, I felt, actually required a more nuanced way of uncovering. This is, after all, Asia. Responsibility is our middle name. So when BTS transitioned from youthful rebellion to complex storytelling, it resonated more. They weren't just rebelling, they were examining and exploring the emotions they were feeling, taking the time to understand and communicate the experience. But more importantly, they started looking at all of those experiences and feelings, regardless of how painful and difficult they were, from a positive perspective. Hence the title, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. But it wasn't just what they were communicating, but also how they were communicating it. They didn't settle with the usual avenues, music and music videos. They started exploring other unconventional channels like books, photos, short films, and even their social media posts actually contributed to the build up of a broader narrative. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life storytelling mirrored the complexity of human life. And that's why so many more fans were able to relate to it. Beyond UGC, user generated content, it was all the rage during the early days of the internet and social media. It was all about building a brand from user contributions. From Facebook to Wikipedia, all this are user generated content. But BTS took it a step further. Users or fans weren't just generators of content for BTS, they became a part of the lore by leaving just enough elements and narrative clues to allow people to interpret the story. They essentially encouraged fans to participate in the storytelling. And this resulted to so many things. First, fans formed communities where they can share their own interpretations, hear other people's interpretations, but more importantly, find other people who share the same interest. BTS. Second, it multiplied the marketing effort of BTS without spending more. Fans were becoming the marketers and ambassadors, using their skills to actually tell the story and communicate their thoughts, allowed them to attract other people to listen to what they're saying and eventually lead them to BTS. Third, it created a sub industry within a main industry. K pop was just about the image, songs, and fashion, and that was the main industry. But the most beautiful moment in life started a literary industry where new IPs were eventually developed, nurtured, and then monetized. From the Most Beautiful Moment in Life trilogy, they released dramas, books, short films, and other merch. Fourth, it reinforced the image of BTS, an image they've been trying so hard to build. A band with substance, as their art required further and deeper examination. And that's really the opposite of what was dominating the pop music industry. It's always something easy, something repetitive, in order to accommodate more people. But BTS went against that. They wanted to develop complex art, and they wanted to be known as artists, not just pop stars. 360 storytelling. It was all about catchy beats, cool performances, and visually stunning music videos. That was the bread and butter of K pop. BTS expanded their world to other avenues. Aside from the music and music videos that they usually put out, they extended their storytelling to books, short films, photo shoots, and, as I've said, even social media posts. People who wanted to understand their story followed them on all channels. Suddenly, K pop wasn't just about the fashion and sound and cool performances. It also had books and art shows and short films. But of course, it wasn't just about how they told the story, but the actual story itself. A strong marketing can take you far, but it will not do anything in improving your substance or the quality of the actual narrative. BTS's story in the most beautiful moment in life is a beautiful one. It's multidimensional and it's compelling. It wasn't about one storyline, it was actually seven different storylines and beautiful ones, but intertwined to form an intriguing epic. The creative material is also the marketing material. It used to be very easy and very clear when you create a business. You have a product or a service and you find ways on how to market, to find people to buy or pay for your product or service. If you're selling a car, then you can use TV ads and social media marketing to entice people to buy. It's the same thing when it comes to entertainment. If you have a movie, you create trailers to let people know what the story is about. And you can send your cast to do press junkets to get some free media and let the people know when they can go to cinemas to watch it. But with BTS, the product and how they sell the product are one and the same. They publish the notes, for example, to give each character a stronger voice and establish their characters and their backstories. But they're also selling the notes. So it's the marketing materials, but they're also selling the marketing materials because it also forms part of the bigger narrative. They have dance routines, they perform on shows and concerts, but the actual performances actually contribute to the exposition of the story. Again, what they sell is also how they sell it. Complex became pop. Simplicity was the key in making it big. Probably 99% of big Western hits have simple progression in terms of chords, melodies, or beats. And they even have a simpler message, if at all. This is all based on how the public processes information. Our brain is capable of processing only one information. So we tend to go for the single minded proposition, say one thing and one thing alone. But BTS is just different. They can say 100 things at the same time. The most beautiful moment in life, for example, isn't just about friendship and how tight their bond is. It's about the dismantling of youth, the destruction of the experience, the displacement of compassion, and those are just to name a few. BTS didn't hold back in pushing their fans to think and think some more and think harder until it became the default of their fans to know that there is something more to decode whenever BTS releases anything. Whalian 52, for example, is about a whale that sings in such a high frequency, no one hears it. But it's also about the loneliness of people that are too smart or too compassionate or too kind or just simply too much for a society that thrives on predictability and routine. But it's also about them and how they were and still are the outlier in an industry, local or foreign. Run is another example. It's about living your life to the fullest, but also about throwing away everything that harms you, but also about letting go or burning everything in your life that does not help you. Their music is always worth going back to because there is always an extra layer you haven't noticed before. The key to global music dominance is a universal story. Before BTS, it was all about looking cool and following global trends to fit in. You can essentially put the names of different K pop acts in a hat and draw a name. 99% of the time, you'll find their style and sound and concept to be a copy of one or several Western acts. In the most beautiful moment in life, BTS didn't just concentrate on their hip hop style. Instead, they started with a story, and it was their story, and then developed everything else from there: their music, their style, music videos, and others. They offered substance over style, story over glamour. They offered art, not just a commercial brand, and that resonated with the global market. And not surprisingly, many other groups are also starting it this way. They start with a message and develop everything around it. Unseen concept from international groups. Many of the popular acts in K pop actually just shamelessly copy other Western groups without any innovation. BTS really came out of nowhere. Their style, specifically the most beautiful moment in lifestyle, is something never seen before in the pop scene, domestic or international. I always say that if Stanley Kubrick, Lewis Carroll, and Billy Wilder had a child, it would be this: the most beautiful moment in life. It's old European, a little bit of fantasy, a little dark, but very realistic. BTS banked on their story, not their image. BTS started as a hip hop centric group. It was evident in the School Trilogy, their first three releases. But it was when they freed themselves from making the genre the center, instead concentrating on the substance, that they finally developed a substantial international following, as evidenced by their first Billboard 200 entry. Now, let me make it clear, they first showed signs of international appeal in their 2014 KCON appearance, but it was the most beautiful moment in life part 2 that made them successfully stick a landing inside Billboard 200 chart. If 2014 KCON was a clue to their international appeal, Billboard 200 entry was the confirmation. And it was the story that took them there: expansion, evolution, and elevation. It's natural for musical acts to retain a certain signature in their music. After all, people want to retain their core audience while they expand to bigger markets. That is why many groups have been known to stick to one sound or concept. Some groups are cute, some groups are hip hop, some groups are girl crush, some groups are sexy. BTS started with a street rap kind of sound. They were gaining traction. It would have made sense if they just stayed on course, but they didn't. They tried ballad, R&B, grunge pop, classical, and others, and put them all in one album. The most beautiful moment in life didn't have one consistent sound, no consistent styling either. What ties it all together was the narrative, told in different beats, voices, style, and intention. And they still managed to make it cohesive. Now, it's very common for different groups to try different genres all in one album. Groups are more free to change gears anytime and trust that their market will stick to them because of the merit of their art. An epic across an era. BTS isn't the first group to put stories in their music videos, and certainly not the first to put elements in those music videos that people will have to decode or follow. But they are the first to successfully run one whole narrative across three different albums with hundreds of subplots. They were the first to tell an epic story with enough depth to hook a large audience across three albums. Movies and TV dramas suddenly didn't have exclusivity in telling complex narratives. BTS expanded it to a multi channel universe that is experiential and participatory.
I hope you found that helpful as much as I did, but also I hope that you were entertained. So please like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification button. But more importantly, please share the video because it's really helping my channel. Also, follow me on X or on Twitter and also on Patreon. I do have a free membership. But if you're looking for a community where you can share your passion for BTS, for K pop, for Asian entertainment and culture, movies, TV, or if you're just looking for a community where you can openly but respectfully express your unpopular opinion and get feedback, this is the community for you. We do have a free membership, so if you just want to try things out, you're welcome to do so. Thank you.